Hi guys, I am so excited to bring you another 10 look video. This is the second one that I've ever done. If you haven't already seen my first one, I will link that up in the corner for you because these are a lot of work and I feel like I've kind of been doing this one behind the scenes. None of you really know that I've been doing this. I think I may have shown you about 3 looks that I've done in other videos, but other than that, I've tried to keep the look kind of secret so that you guys don't know what you're in for. So I got this idea because I realized that I have 10 JUVIA'S Place palettes. So I thought what better time to do a 10 looks, 10 palettes kind of video and just do one look with each palette because everybody loves JUVIA'S Place and I obviously love JUVIA'S Place too, and I want to honor all these beautiful palettes and I hope I do them justice. So I'm not going to keep you guys here for much longer. I am just going to get straight into the video. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Get a snack, sit back and relax, and let's get into look number 1.
For look number 1, we're going to be using the Nubian 2 palette, and I'll be starting off by priming my eyes with my MAC paint pot, and I'm not going to set this. I really like to leave my primer tacky for maximum color payoff. And after I have primed, I need a little bit of coffee because this is going to be a long video. First, I'm going to dip into Jezebel, and I am so sorry for every single shade name that I'm going to butcher in this video because there is going to be a lot of that. I'm using my Luxie 231 brush and I am putting this shadow into my crease. I'm also going to pack it all over my lid to make sure that this is opaque for when I go in to put on the shimmer. I'm also pulling the shadow down onto my lower lash line and connecting it to my outer corner. Next up, I'm taking Layla on my MAC 242 brush. I'm spraying it with some Fix Plus, which is something that I will do with every single shimmer that I use in this video, so I'm not going to be showing it other than this time. And I'm just going to be placing the shadow all over where I put down that matte shade. And then I go to pray that all this fallout is going to be removed, so let's see. And we got it! Next up, I'm taking Egypt, which is such a beautiful green shimmer, and I'm basically placing this where I don't have any shadow. The only room that I'm leaving open is a tiny bit right in my inner corner because I plan on going in with something else there. And I'm also taking a bit of a fluffier brush to kind of bring this into my crease and also blend it up and into the other shadows that I have up there. Also with my Morphe M149 brush, which is just a tiny little fluffy brush, I'm taking this on the first start of my lower lash line, meeting it up with the shadows that we have already put down. And then for my inner corner, I'm going to use Zuri, and I'll be using that on my same Morphe M149 brush. If you want to see a video that I did on my favorite brushes, I will link that up in the corner for you. But this is definitely one of the most unique brushes that I have in my collection, and I don't know what I would do without it. And because I am so extra, I'm going to use 2 different liners in my waterline. First, I'm going in with Tornado, and then I'm going to use Mars. These are both from Urban Decay, and I love them both. Then I'm going to curl my lashes, because I always do that. I'm also going to take my DHC Cosmetics liquid liner, and I'm going to just trace my upper lash line, and I'm not going to make a wing this time. And then I am taking my all-time favorite mascara, and this is the Bad Gal Bang by Benefit. I could not live without this. I think this is a fantastic mascara, and I use it pretty much every single day. For lipstick, I put on Lovesick by Kat Von D, and that will complete look number 1. This is probably going to be one of the easiest looks that I have in this video. For look number 2, we're going to be using the Saharan palette, and if you haven't seen that, this is what it looks like. And we're first starting off by taking Sokoto, and I'm going to start packing this in a half circle, and this is not a technique that I've really done before, what I plan on doing for this look, and I really wanted to just see if I can find a way to make a big wing using my hooded eyes, which is always such a struggle, and I'm sure you know that if you have hooded eyes yourself. So I'm just bringing this in a full circle now around my eye, also down onto my lower lash line, but I'm not pulling my shadow out at all. I'm keeping it very tight. And then it looks like I have an eye booger that we need to remove. What is that doing there? Then I'm going in with Chad on a very, very small angled brush that's usually probably meant for eyebrows, but I'm using it to create a wing with hair, and I feel like I could have probably angled this upwards a little bit more, because that way I would have been able to make a thicker wing with my eye shape, but I still think this looked pretty good in the end. And basically what I'm doing is that I'm connecting my wing up to where my fold on my eyelid is, and then I'm going to cut my crease, and I'm going to connect that cut crease to where my wing begins, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like in my head it does. And for my cut crease, I'm going to use my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, which is the concealer that I use on my face every day. And I really don't like this for cut creases, and I don't know why I keep using it, because if I put on too much, it always transfers. But as you can see, I do the little blink trick where I put some on my eyelid and then I blink and look up and I see where I cut the crease. And then I really just fill in everywhere that I don't have anything on my eyelid, and I am meeting it up to where my wing begins. And to make the transition a bit smoother on the outer parts where my wing is, I'm going in with Kia, and I'm just patting that right over where the edges are, just so I can get a better blend when I go in with the rest of the shadows on my lid. For the rest of my lid, I am taking Senegal, and I'm just placing that all over where I cut my crease, and I am meeting it up to the outer parts where the wing begins, and I'm not pulling it all the way into my inner corner because I am going to go in with a different shadow there, but I am being pretty precise with this application. And the shade that I'm going to put in my inner corner is going to be called Wodabi, I don't know. But it's a beautiful gold shade, and I'm going to put that right where I don't have any shadow at all. So I decided I wasn't completely happy with how my lower lash line was looking, so I'm again going in with a bit more of that first shade that we put down in the crease, just to blow this out a bit more. For my waterline, I'm using one of my all-time favorite pencils, and this is Deep End by Urban Decay. And then for some reason I thought that poking myself in the eye would be a good idea. So to make myself feel better, I'm deciding to use a little bit of my Stila Gold Goddess glitter just in my inner corner. And falling down from the sky, we have Too Faced's Sugar Cookie. So that is what we're going to be using as our lipstick for this look. And I'm also going to put a gloss on top, and the one that I'm going to use is Luna by Anastasia. And I'm just tapping this on. And that will complete look number 2. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and this is a technique that I would love to experiment more with because I feel like these wings came out looking pretty good. For the next look, I'm going to use the Douce palette, or the Douce palette, I always say that wrong. This is what it looks like. It's a very beautiful muted palette, and I'm starting off by taking crepes and putting that in my outer corner. I absolutely probably would have switched up step 1 and step 2, and you will see why in a little bit. So next up, I'm going to take Chocolat, and I'm taking that on a very small angled brush, and I am tracing this outside of where I just put down that first shade in my outer corner. And I do want this to be a bit of a graphic look, so I'm also sort of making a wing shape with this. I'm also making sure that when I look straight ahead that I can see both of these shades above the hood of my eyes, and I think that's very important for this look to be able to look good. I'm also taking the same shadow down onto my lower lash line and connecting it to the rest of the wing. And then after doing the other eye, I go back and really make sure that both eyes are looking the same, and I really wanted to intensify this color a bit to make it look more dramatic. And you can also see that I'm only placing the shadows on the outer part of my eye, and I'm keeping most of the inner part open because I just thought that that would give it a bit of a different look and not something that you see every day. And I'm also going to go in with a very popping inner corner, and I really wanted that to stand out. I'm then taking a bit more of that shade Crepes that we first put down, and I'm really just intensifying this color and making sure that it is as vibrant as it can be. I'm also just slightly running over above the lines where I put down that brown shade to kind of buff it out a little bit. Then I am taking Berry Mousse, and I'm using that to just set the rest of the eyelid because I still have my eyeshadow primer there that I haven't set, so I just wanted to make sure that I set this. And you can also see that I'm pulling the shadow over the first shadow that I put on a little bit just to kind of make this more open. This next step is optional, I would say, but I'm going in with a bit more of that brown shade and just kind of intensifying the lower lash line as well. And then for my inner corner, which is such a beautiful shade, I'm going to use Macaron, and I'm putting that right into my inner corner, and I really, really like how this turned out. Then for my waterline, I'm going in with my Orange Makeup Forever pencil. I like these pencils. I think these are really, really good, and I feel like this went very well with the look. And in a flash, I'm going to put on my mascara and liner. See what I did there? For lipstick, or for lips, I'm going to use my MAC Oh Sweetie Gloss in Creamy Peach Pie. I love these so much, and I've heard rumors that they're being discontinued, which is such a shame, because these are such an amazing product. And then we have a little happy dance, apparently. I can't even remember doing this, but I guess I was happy with how this look turned out. And I can't say anything else right now because I am pretty happy with how this turned out. For look number 4, we're going to be using the Saharan 2 palette. And the first shade that I want to use is called Fez, which is just a dark brown. And I'm taking this on my Morphe E36 brush and I'm placing this in my crease, maybe a little bit above my crease, but I'm placing this in a half circle. I am going to do a half moon cut crease this time. I think that's what it's called anyway. So I'm just placing this down right now. And then I'm going to use another shade to blend this out with, and that shade is going to be Zora. And I'm tapping off my brush and just gently placing that right above where I put down the brown. Just using small circular motions until the blend is the way that I want it. And then I again take my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and you'll see here why I don't like using this as concealer, because it really transfers and it smears all over, but it's okay, we're gonna go in and fix this. So I am basically making a half moon cut crease right now, where I basically cut out all of my lid and I'm making it look very, very round, almost like a ball. And you can see that I'm really taking my time with this, and I'm looking up sometimes to make sure that the cut crease is above where my eyelid is, because my eyes are obviously hooded, so I want this cut crease to be above where the fold of my eye is. And this is just something you really have to practice to figure out with your own eye shape. Now that my crease is cut the way that I like it, I'm taking Nomad and I'm placing this in the inner and outer corner of the ball shape that I have on my eye. I don't even know how else to explain that. And for the middle part of my halo eye, I'm going in with Bear Bear, which I thought was Barber. I don't know why, but it's called Bear Bear. And I'm just placing that right in the middle where I don't have any shadows yet. And because I'm not completely happy about this, I'm going to go in with Chef Shaolin as well. And I'm going to put that right on top to hopefully make this pop a little bit more. I'm then just going back and forth between the red shades, and I'm just kind of intensifying everything and making sure that the cut crease is looking okay and cleaning up the little boo-boo that we had up there. And for my lower lash line, I'm again dipping into Bear Bear, and I'm just using an angled brush to smudge this all over. I obviously sprayed this to make sure that it was looking very nice and bright. And after placing the shadow down, I'm taking a fluffy brush and I'm just blending this out. And then after my hammer decided to turn off, I took Aziza and I put that into my inner corner. Again, I'm taking my deep end liner from Urban Decay and putting that into my waterline. And because I have a liquid glitter obsession, I am using my Pixie glitter in the shade Crystaline, and I am placing this right in the middle of my halo eye. And this wasn't really working for me, and I felt like it was taking away some of the shadows that I had on top of my lid, and I wasn't really liking how this was looking, so I went in with a brush to try to fix that. But I still wasn't happy, so I took my Perlina by Stila, and I needed that to put on top to really make this look the way that I wanted it to be. And I, of course, put on some liquid liner and about 500 coats of mascara. And then for lipstick, I am using my Kat Von D Ludwig, and on top I am placing a Tarte gloss, which is in the shade Infamous. And now that I think about it, I actually got both of these products in a BoxyCharm, so goes to show I actually use some of the stuff that we get in the boxes. I am considering canceling it though, because I am kind of sick of it, not gonna lie. But that will complete the look with the Saharan 2 palette, probably one of my more complicated looks. I know you couldn't see my quote-unquote there, but I like how this turned out. Now let's move on to the Masquerade palette. And the first shade that we're going to be dipping into is going to be Zobo, which is just beautiful pinky purple shade. And I'm taking that on my Luxie 231 brush, focusing most of the shadow in the outer corner, but I'm also pulling it through my crease and really building up the shadow. And then going dark to light, as I usually do, I'm going to go into Bori, and I'm going to use that shade with the same brush to just blend out everything that I just put down. Then on my MAC 242 brush, I'm taking Mikado, which is this beautiful purple shade, and I'm placing that in the outer corner, but I'm also using the same brush and just the edges of it to kind of blend this into my crease a little bit to make this blend more seamless and add more definition and depth. And for the rest of my lid, I'm going to pack Dahlia, which is this beautiful blue shade. I love the shade so much. I'm really just packing this all over and meeting it up with the purple that we have in the outer corner and just kind of mixing them gently in together. And because I'm not connecting any shadows on my lower lash line to the top, I'm going to clean this line up to make it look a bit sharper. And after I've put down the concealer, I'm just going to take a nude eyeshadow and I'm just going to use that right on top just to make sure that it doesn't look like I have concealer down there. And then I'm wondering what to do, and I kind of have a plan, and I'm dipping into Mali with a very round, small Luxie brush, and I'm just going to make 3 little dots on my lower lash line, and I thought this came out really, really fun and cool and very different from anything that I've seen before. I always love doing something that's maybe a bit unexpected, but at the same time pretty simple to do. And because I do like me an inner corner, I'm taking Gisa, and I'm just gently putting that right in my tear duct. And then I use a white liner from NYX that I really like, and I'm laughing at myself because I'm being so silly. And then of course we need some liner and some mascara because I can't live without any of those. And to finish up this look, I am taking my Colourpop Ultra Satin lipstick in the shade First of All. I think this is such a beautiful shade. And again, I'm pretty happy with how this look turned out. And clearly, I don't know, I'm being silly again. But here is the close-up of look number 5. I hope you are enjoying the ride so far. Let's move into look number 6, which is going to be with the Afrique palette. And this is probably going to be the easiest look out of all 10. And I'm starting off by taking Aya, and I am packing this into my inner corner, and I'm doing this first because this is a matte shade and it's a lot easier to layer a shimmer over a matte than to layer a matte over a shimmer, and this is something that I love to do when I want to have an inner corner that is matte. And as you can see, I'm really blowing this out because I do want this to be a standout shade when I'm done. Next up, I'm taking Kofi, which is this gold shade, and I'm basically packing this all over my lid, and I'm also going to be pulling this into my crease a little bit, because transition shades are overrated and we don't always need those. And just to make it a bit more seamless, I am taking my Morphe E36 brush, I think this is, again, and just buffing out the edges. I'm then going in with Fifi or Fi-Fi, I'm not sure how you say that, but I'm using a small angled brush, and I'm actually going to do an underline wing, which is not something I do very often, but this is a great way to do a wing if you have hooded eyes, because you don't have that trouble of going through the fold on the outside of your eyelid, because you can just kind of follow through with what you do on the lower lash line. And for my liner, I'm going to use Colourpop's Best O, which is just a dark brown, and I thought that would go well with the other warm tones. Then of course some liner and mascara. And for lipstick, oh, I dropped it. I did that so many times. But this is the Kat Von D Glimmer Veil in the shade Rocker, which is a metallic orange. I really like the formula of these. I think these are so fun. And I was not kidding when I said that this was going to be a super simple look, because we are already done. And I'm a big believer in that you don't always have to spend forever on your eye makeup, and that even if you do something very simple, it can still have a big impact. Let's move on to one of my absolute favorite JUVIA'S Place palettes. This is the Magic palette. I love this. I'm first starting off by taking Decay, and I'm going to be doing a full cut crease in this look, and that's not something that I do a lot. So I'm starting off by placing this above where my natural crease is, because I do have hooded eyes, like I've said. So for me to be able to do a full cut crease, I need to be placing it a lot higher up than most people. And I'm also being pretty precise with this because I don't want the blue to be mixing in with my concealer when I do go in and cut my crease. And I really need to start removing my eye boogers before I start filming, but I always forget. Next, I'm taking my Too Faced Born This Way concealer again, and I'm doing my look up trick. But this time I'm cutting my crease higher than where the transfer is, because I do need my cut crease to be above my fold. Like I've said before, I need to be able to see the whole cut crease with my eyes open. And if I go by where my crease actually is, it's going to be too low down. And because I don't plan on putting shadows all over my lid, I'm going in with Cassie, and I'm just using that to set my concealer so that I don't get any creasing later on in the day. I'm then taking Buzo, which is this beautiful green shade, and I'm placing that in my inner part of where I cut my crease, and I'm going to do like a reverse gradient where I put the darkest shade in my inner corner and then fading it outwards. I am then taking Nubian, and I will be placing this right next to where I put on the green, and I'm also going to be kind of fading this out into nothing so that it looks like there's no shadow on the outer part of where I cut my crease. And then I'm taking Ife, which is a beautiful dark purple, which kind of looks blue in a pan, but it's actually purple. And I'm placing this on my lower lash line. I'm not really winging it out, but I am kind of pulling it out a little bit so that when I do put on liner, it's going to look better. I'm then just going in with a fluffy brush to make sure that everything is looking nice and blended. I then put on some liner and mascara, but on my lower lash line, I actually put on a purple mascara by NYX. And I'm also going to put a purple liner in my waterline, which is also by NYX. And I still don't feel like my look is complete, so I'm taking Faso, which is this beautiful purple shade, and I'm placing this a little bit in my inner corner, but mostly on my lower lash line. And then, of course, I almost dropped my lipstick again, which I always do. And I am again using Sugar Cookie by Too Faced. And then on top, I'm actually going to go in with a L'Oreal Color It Shine in Shining Peach. These are such a fantastic dupe for the Marc Jacobs gloss sticks, so if you've been wanting to try that, you might really like these. These are super comfortable and they come in a lot of shades. And I'm just going to be shaking my head at how awkward I am, but I'm still going to leave it in because I don't even know why I'm doing all these things. But here are the close-ups. I hope you like this look. Let's move into look number 8, which is going to be with the Tri palette. And this is one of my favorite JUVIA'S Place palettes. So I'm first starting off by taking Sun, which is a matte dark green, and I'm placing this in my outer corners. But I'm also going to be bringing it through my crease in towards my inner corner, and I really try to build up the shadow so that it is nice and pigmented and opaque. I'm also taking this same shadow and I'm bringing this down to my lower lash line as well as connecting it to my outer corner and winging it out slightly. And to blend this out, I'm taking Tootsie, which is just the cutest name ever, and I'm using my Morphe M506 brush to just gently go above where I put on that dark green. And I am also taking it down onto my lower lash line and doing the same thing that I did on top. For this look, I'll be doing another cut crease, but this time I'm only doing a half cut crease. So I'm again using the same lookup technique, and I am cutting my crease a little bit higher than where my concealer transfers, but I am only doing a half cut crease like I said, so I am fading it out after I go about halfway across. I'm then going in with Curl Out, which is this beautiful shimmery orange shade, and I'm placing that in the middle of my eye. I am then also going in with the darkest of the green shimmer shades, and I'm putting that on my outer corner, just mixing it in with the orange to make a bit of a smoother transition. And I also try to make sure that I blend it into the dark green that I have in the crease and the outer corner, and I'm also bringing it slightly down to my lower lash line as well, just to get a little more depth. And then for my inner part of my lid, I am taking Coral, and I'm just placing this right where I don't have any shadow, meeting it up with the orange. As well as switching to a smaller brush, putting it into my inner corner and slightly down to my lower lash line. And then for my waterline, I'm taking one of my all-time favorite eyeliners. This is Teaspoon by Colourpop, and it's just a beautiful green. And then of course, I need to go in with some liner and mascara, I know, every time. And then where did my lipstick go? Oh, there it is. And this is one that I've used before. This is Creamy Peach Pie by MAC, and this is one of their Oh Sweetie glosses, and that will complete this look with the Tri palette. What am I doing? Here are the close-ups. I am really happy with this look. I love how this turned out. I just love green eyeshadows. And it is finally time for my favorite JUVIA'S Place palette. This is the Zulu palette, and it doesn't have any names in it, which makes me so happy. So we're first starting off by taking the blue matte shade, and I'll be putting that in my crease. And for this look, I'll be doing a halo eye, so I'm placing this all the way from the inner corner to the outer corner, and I'm really trying to build up the pigment here and really make this color shine as much as I can. I'm then taking the purple shade, I love just being able to say purple, and I'm placing that in my inner corner and my outer corner of my eye, hence the halo eye. And I will admit this is not my favorite purple in my collection. I mean, it is fine, but it does get a little bit patchy and stuff, and I definitely prefer to use it on a sticky base than try to layer it on top like I'm doing here. And for the middle of my halo, I am dipping into one of my favorite shades in this palette, and this is just a gorgeous light blue shimmery shade. And I just love that so much. So I'm basically placing it right in the middle, and I'm also kind of pulling it into my crease a little bit, because when I have hooded eyes, it just looks better when I have the lightest shade go all the way up than when I try to connect the darkest shade across. I'm also taking a bit more of that purple, and I'm trying to really intensify the inner and the outer corners now, and just kind of layering a little bit on top, trying to make this purple a bit less patchy and more opaque. And I am then taking the purple again, and I'm doing something a bit different now, and I'm placing this in the middle of my lower lash line, not like you would normally do. And I'm then going in with the blue, and I'm placing that kind of like the opposite of what I did on the lid, but I think this would have turned out better if I actually cleaned up the edges on the outside of my eye and made those a bit sharper with some concealer maybe. But I still think this turned out okay, but it's not my favorite look that I've ever done, even though I've gotten a lot of compliments on it from a previous video that I did. But I do wish I cleaned up the edges on the outside, but it's fine. I still think this came out looking kind of cool in the end. I'm just taking my Cosette brush, and I'm making sure that everything is looking nice and blended before going in with some glitter, and this is from Lime Crime, and it's in the shade Tearful. And I'm taking this on my Morphe M149 brush, and I'm placing that in my inner corner and also right over the top of where I put down the blue on my lower lash line. And I think this really made the eye look pop, and I love having a bit of glitter down there. And for liner and mascara this time, I decided to do it off camera to not bore you guys. And in my waterline, I decided to go with two liners. The first one is Voodoo by Urban Decay, and then I used Makeup Forever's liner in Aqua Eyes. And for lipstick, I'm using my Dior Rouge lipstick in the shade 272. I don't know if this one actually has a name, and I don't really like this lipstick, I'm not gonna lie. So I am going to use a gloss on top of this because this formula is just not that great. And the gloss I'm using is from Anastasia, and it is in the shade Pink Tourmaline. And this will complete the look with the JUVIA'S Place Zulu palette. And if you are still around, I would love it if you leave me a little star emoji in the comments so I can thank you personally for being such a trooper, because we are nearing the end here. And so I think we should just get into the final look, which is going to be with the Festival palette. And I really love the color story in this. I think this is so inspiring. And we're going to be starting off this look taking the beautiful mustard yellow shade called Oro, and I'll be putting that in the first start of my crease, and we're going to be doing a multicolored crease, which you guys know I love to do. Unless you're new to my channel, then welcome. And for the middle shade, I'm going to go into Eerie G, which I really hate the names in this palette. But I am placing this right in the middle, next to the yellow that I put down. I'm also sort of blending as I go here, so I don't have to go back and forth too much. And then for the outer part of my eye, I'm dipping into Izafa, which is the pure red shade, and I'm using this on the outer part. I'm also connecting it to the lid. I then also fill it in and make sure that my outer corner is all coated in red. And I'm also trying to shape my eye shape here to make sure it's the way that I want it before I go into my lower lash line and bring the shadow down. And I'm taking this about a third of the way, just like I have on the upper lid. And then I'm taking a little fluffier brush and I'm using that to blend out the edges. Now for a bit of fun, I am taking Abba, and I'm going to do something similar that I did to one of the previous looks where I put the darkest shade on my lid in the inner corner. I'm also going to be wrapping this around, but I am leaving a bit of space in the middle to sort of do a bit of a weird halo eye, if you will. And for that, I'll be using Odogwu, which, to be fair, this is why I would rather not have any names in the palettes, because I am just butchering everything. I am also doing the same thing on the lower lash line, putting this right in the middle to kind of create a halo effect on the bottom as well. I'm also just intensifying this mustard shade a little bit by tucking it more into my inner corner. I am then taking Uli and I'm just plopping a bit of that in my inner corner for an extra pop. And I'm also going back in with that dark red shade and really putting that into my outer corner and making sure that everything's looking nice and blended. And in my waterline, I'm going to use Punch by Colourpop, which is one of my favorite liners of all time because it's so hard to find a good yellow liner. And then liner and mascara later. We are on to lipstick, which in this look is going to be from Suva Beauty, and this is in the shade The Unconscious. And I find this kind of color to be really hard to find a good formula with, but I really feel like they nailed it, and I love this so much. So here is the final look, and I guess this will sum up the 10 looks with all my JUVIA'S Place palettes. And I have to say, if I have to choose a favorite, I actually think I would choose this one because I really love it.
Alright guys, those were all the looks. I really hope you enjoyed them. Let me know down below which look was your favorite if you still remember. I would love to know. And if you did like this video, please give me a like down below. I know I don't usually ask for likes and subscribers, but for a video that takes this much time, I really do appreciate it if you could just give this video a thumbs up because that helps me out a lot. I'm for sure going to do more of these 10 looks kind of videos throughout the year. I can't promise how many, but I do sort of want to make this my thing because I really do enjoy making these. I just think it's challenging, but it's so fun at the same time, and it's just so rewarding when you can click post. So I hope you all enjoyed it. If you are new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you all in my next video.